Greetings, KORN kiddos. You're listening to part one of a three-part special edition of the Bakotunes podcast, episode 61. I'm your host, Matt Munoz, from your favorite website, www.bakotopia.com. In this episode, Bakotunes welcomes KORN lead vocalist and Bakersfield homeboy, Jonathan Davis. Yes, he's finally on the show. And in Bakotopia magazine, issue 48, available all over Bakotopia land starting February the 19th. 2009. And it couldn't have happened at a better time, as most fans out there are already aware of. John's got a slammin' side project called Jonathan Davis and the SFA, a brand new solo CD in the works, and even better, a big homecoming show at B Riders Bar in Bakersfield on Thursday, February 26th at 8 p.m. He's not coming alone either. He's bringing the whole SFA, which by the way stands for the Simply Fucking Amazings. Hanging out with John at B Riders on February 10th, 2009 was one of the highlights of doing a show like this. Just two musical compadres talking about the roots. Don't forget to call B Riders at area code 661-397-7304 to get your tickets to the February 26th show. And stay tuned for parts 2 and 3 of the Bakotunes podcast with John. Now, here's Jonathan Davis on the record, brought to you by Bakotopia.com. In the past, I get the impression that the media may have kind of bamboozled you into painting Bakersfield, negative with bad reporting and misquotes, For the record, what do you really think about Bakersfield?
I love Bakersfield. I was born and raised here. All those misquotes and everything they weren't even misquotes. I was really pissed off at Bakersfield and hated it. And when I was growing up, I wanted to get out of here because there was nothing to do. There wasn't, not how it is now. At least there's clubs you can go to watch music. There's a scene. There's things to do. But when I was growing up here, there was absolutely nothing. So that made it kind of like, oh God, I want to get out of here and do that. But coming back here, I have a house here. Bring my family here. I love it. It's my I live half my time here, half my time in LA when I'm home, and it's just, I don't know, it's good. I like the people. It's grounding for me.
It has a healing energy to you when you come back a little bit.
Yeah, it's home, dude.
Exactly.
It's my home, and I don't know, I love it here. Always have. I still go to the Bluffs. When I was a kid, I used to go out there and play my bagpipes all the time, but I still roll out to the Bluffs, and it's all nice now. It used to be just, it was just dirt. And it's just crazy to see how this town's grown. But no, I really do like Bakersfield.
We can easily discuss KORN's history and retell what's been written over and over. But let's talk about what you're doing now project-wise.
Right now, I'm working on my solo record with my band JDSFA. It's coming out great. I have I got 3 more songs to finish up. And then I'll be going into the big studio. I did some in my house. I'll be going into the KORN studio and redoing all the vocals and tracking some extra drums and just different kinds of weird instruments, world instruments and string sections, stuff like that.
Yeah. You really tapped into a lot of the, like you talk about the world instruments, you talk about Shankar and stuff like that. When did you really start to embrace a lot of that into the music?
I think that happened when I did Queen of the Dam. That's when I hooked up with Richard Gibbs, my buddies. And he opened my eyes to that whole world, and I started really getting into Peter Gabriel and all the kind of, the different kinds of types of music. And I started, I had to research for Queen of the Dam because it took place, some of it was supposed to take place in Egypt, and, in the book, all that stuff was going on. So I wanted to study ancient Egyptian music, so Richard got me a stack of CDs, and I listened to that, and I was really digging all the different instruments because, you only can do so much with guitar, bass, drums, and stuff like this. It's just interesting to throw different kinds of instruments in the mix.
Tablas and...
Yeah, it's cool. I got a tabla player on this record. They did an amazing job. And I always pick up different instruments as projects every time I do a project. Right now I'm working on an instrument called the Duduk. It's an Armenian instrument. It's the most beautiful instrument I've ever heard in my life. People, when you hear it, you've heard it before. It's been in lots of stuff. They used it in, Peter Gabriel used it in the Last Temptation of Christ soundtrack. Shankar did that with Peter, and he did his violin, and then it's also a Duduk player in there. And the last record, 2 records ago, see on the other side, I was playing the glass harmonica, which was an instrument invented by Benjamin Franklin. It's basically a bunch of crystal bowls. It's like when you play a wine glass. Yeah. But you play it kind of like piano with your fingers. I got one of the last ones made by the only guy in the world that makes them, and it was so mysterious. He just jumped in his airplane one day and took off and never came back. It was crazy. So really? I got one of the last ones that he made, and I like the instrument because they used to believe that it was the devil's instrument. People would go into seizures when they heard the music, and they the players would eventually go insane. And all it was, after they looked back and researched it, was that the glass was leaded back then. So they were just absorbing lead through their fingers, which made them go crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just thought I'd try that out, and I got that. Some other instruments down
when
there.
are we going to see those recordings come to the public?
I'm working on them now. Hopefully, I want them to come out sometime April, May.
You going to start touring?
Yeah, definitely. We're starting a touring. KORN's going on tour in June. We're going to go do festivals in Europe, and I'll probably stay over there and do some JDSFA shows. And my album will be out, so I'll start touring and doing all the original stuff.
Yeah, you mentioned Richard Gibbs. That's why my next question, because one of my all-time favorite bands, Boingo Boingo.
Boingo.
I talked to Richard Gibbs at the NAMM show a couple of years ago, but the first time I met him was at the Fox Theater when Boingo played there. That was a long time ago. So when I saw his name and your name associated, I said, "Oh, this is so cool." How was he to work with?
Oh, he's great, man. I love Richard. He's an amazing guy. He's an amazing musician. He's taught me so much. That's all I can say. I mean, he's godfather of my children, and I really love the guy to death. And I love talking about the old Boingo days.
Yeah.
I love the Boingo. I mean, Boingo was mostly a West Coast thing.
It was.
Definitely a West Coast thing. But,
and they were big in Brazil.
In Brazil, yeah. I just talking about those days. I mean, he was in the first one, I Like Little Girls phase of the band. But then, I got to go hang out with Danny Elfman, because I did that remake of Kidnapped to Sandy Claus from KORN did. And I got to go do some interviews with him. And I hooked him up with a guy that sells shrunken heads. Because he has a shrunken head collection. Yeah. And so we were talking about that, and he's cool. Danny told me I found out the worst work he ever thought, and he loathes it, and he hates that he ever did it, was Weird Science.
Yeah, of course, the biggest hit always becomes the most hated project.
Yeah, he's all even talking about that. I go, dude, I loved that as a kid. What are you talking about?
I know, I got the 12-inch dance remix,
Yeah.
And it just never ended. It was 12 minutes long. Now, how challenging is composing a musical score compared to writing for a rock band?
Fuck. It's so much more difficult. When you do a score, you have to, you're painting the picture, the emotional picture, what's going on screen. So there's no verse or chorus or, any time signatures change, different things change because you have to hit certain points in the score, to kick off an emotion. Maybe it's sad or scary or some action sequence or anything.
What's your background as far as musical score? Did you have to take any courses to learn how to?
No, I just took a course of Richard Gibbs. I just said I wanted to get into scoring music because I did music that was kind of that kind of way, and my manager said, well, we got to hook you up with a composer. And at the time, my music publisher was Zamba, and they were Richards too, so we talked to Zamba, and they hooked me and him up, and I went out to his house, and he gave me a test kind of. He's like, he was scoring this TV thing for TV, it was a wrestling movie. He's all, play to this. So I'm all right. So I'm sitting there on the keyboard watching the thing going. And he's just sitting there watching. I was scared shitless. I don't know what I was doing, but I just played what I thought was going on. And he's all right. I'll work with you. He's like, you have it. He's like, because some people. He said I got what was going on with film and how I was trying to change the moods and everything. Because a lot of people can't even do that. Then he just took me under his wing, and I learned so much when we were doing Queen of the Damned. That shit took a couple of years because they hired us before they even shot the movie to do all the songs and shit. So. Got the songs done, and they shot the movie around the songs. And then when we got into the score, yeah, it was crazy.
Did you ever get to meet Aaliyah?
No, we talked through people because we were going to work together, and then when she passed, her brother Rashad came and lived with me for about 3 or 4 months. So I got close with Rashad and her family, the Houghton family. But yeah, I helped Rashad. Helping him get over it a little bit. It was just devastating to that family.
Oh, it ain't over yet, KORN Kids. Part 2 of episode 61 of the Bakotunes podcast interview with Jonathan Davis of KORN is on the way.
Bakotunes Radio.
Yes, we're back. Here's part 2 of my 3-part interview with Jonathan Davis of KORN right here on the Bakotunes podcast, episode 61. Now, you are the product of a different era in Bakersfield. I mean, back in the early 90s, late 80s and early 90s, alternative music and lifestyles were not as accepted in Bakersfield.
No.
I mean, And then you remember a club like Bam Bam's.
Bam Bams that hung out there all the time.
Yeah, and it was a combination of all ages punk, and it also was like a all ages gay bar too.
Yeah.
The first time I ever saw him there was it's such a mix.
It was all like the punk kids and
Yeah, you
gay,
either got along or
you didn't. There's gay kids, and then there was fucking Roger, the black gay skinhead.
Roger Bell. Yeah.
Made no sense. I'm a black gay skinhead. That always. What the fuck is going on, Roger? But he had all these white skinheads come in. I remember I was there the night he came and destroyed Bam Bams with shovels and shit. I mean, all the crazy shit that went on there. But it was cool. Or what was the other gay club? Everybody hung out in the park. The Cellar. I used to go hang out at the Cellar too, in the parking lot, because it was like that was the only like alternative place. It wasn't. There's a lot of gay people there, but there's a lot of straight people there too.
Yeah. You didn't have to be.
You didn't have to be gay. That was just a place in Beach Park. That was another place. What was other places? There's certain places that you went that were more leaning to more alternative, weren't gay. It was just like that whole. Well, it was the early '90s. Still, new romantic scene was going on, all that stuff. So
Vidal's.
And I hung out at Vidal's. Yeah. Ended up DJing with them a lot.
Really?
Yeah. I started DJing with Brent at Pac West early on. I did dances, all this stuff, and I used to DJ with Eric and Nick. And I kept in touch with them and Chalk.
Yeah, Chalk.
C minus. This is from Bakersfield too. C. Me and him DJ now. Me and him are out doing DJ gigs now. I started DJing now, so.
Really?
Yeah, I played at Sundance, and I'm DJing in Vegas, and this music conference in Miami, Paul Oakenfold, so I'm starting to get in that world too.
What's your choice in what you're spinning? Yeah.
Electro and freestyle.
Really?
Old school shit.
Yeah.
And then regular, hits. I throw hits and hip hop in there, but when I break out that old shit like Egyptian Lover or Company B or Trenier or any of that old shit. Cover Girls, Noel, Silent Morning, all that shit. When I break that shit out, people start crying, dude. I've had DJs come up with a tear in their eyes. I heard that shit, do this shit. Because no one plays that shit. I mean, it was originated in New York, but it was big out here. I mean, if you're Hispanic, you know that shit. Stevie B and fucking everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were at all those. We were probably all at the same shows. All those Vidal shows, man.
The Vidal shows. I used to fucking I got my first shootout at an armory with, remember Lloyd? He was the DJ. Anyway.
Yes, I do know Lloyd.
Okay, he was DJing there, and anyway, some shit broke out. Chairs started flying, guns, shots were going off and shit. That was my first shootout. Second one was at Def Jam 92, or was it 87 or some shit when LL played. Fucking motherfucker started shooting out of it. My dad picked me up from the fucking Civic Auditorium, and right when I get in a car, some motherfucker jumps, puts his hand right over my dad's car and starts capping people, and I never got to go to a show again after that.
Oh man!
Cops pulled us out of the car and shit. There's gunfire everywhere. Been a couple shootouts in Bakersfield. That was fun.
Yeah, those are like the early days of the Bloods and the Crips and all the colors and all that stuff started coming out, and everybody was just like,
it was
you went to the movie theaters and you waited out in the parking lot for everybody to walk out because you knew something was going to go down.
Yeah.
You just want to see, whoa, dude, this is like the real thing.
Yeah, you're waiting for someone. You don't want to catch a bullet. It's crazy though.
I interviewed Monkey a few years ago, and he mentioned, going to drink on top of the Green Lawn Cemetery Crips to see the oil field lights out as a teenager. And you had mentioned going out to the Bluffs. Mm-hmm. What are some of the other things that you remember that are real special to you growing up?
The Bluffs are my thing. I always liked hanging out there.
Yeah.
As a kid, I was grounded my whole fucking childhood because I sucked in school, so I didn't get to do much. I snuck out every once in a while, but in the neighborhood. Oh, I did like going to Lake Isabella a lot, go fishing and stuff like that, but I didn't really party or do any of that because I never had a chance. That shit happened when I got out of the house.
Yeah.
And then all hell broke loose. I worked over at Peter's funeral home, but then I was like in the band, and I had a little house on Monterey that got busted in a couple times. Some Latino gangs come in and are looking for people that shot other people. I mean, I saw some crazy shit. Living over there, but then I got out of there and went back over to Peter's, worked there, left there, was working at the coroner's office, and then I moved to Huntington, got in KORN, and
rest is history, bro. Yeah. Well, let me see. I'm going to go back.
Okay.
I'm going to bring up two of my earliest memories of watching you perform in Bakersfield. This is pre-KORN, and you tell me if you have any recollection. The Radio Rain Dance It had to have been 92 when I kind of pieced everything together. It was Kern County Fairgrounds, and you came in at the end with Cradle of Thorns. And it was kind of like that was the first time that I had ever seen you.
Yeah, I did a song with them, right?
Can you remember any of that?
I don't even remember playing at the fairgrounds. Dude, I did so much meth, it just fried my brain at that time.
Wow.
I've been sober 10 years now.
It's beautiful.
I really indulged. I got in KORN, and only when I was in sex art and everything, I just started feeling like I had to live the rock star lifestyle, what a rock star should be, and that was doing every drug and everything I could get my hands on. My role model was Jim Morrison, I guess, and anything I could get my hands on, I did. So a lot of those memories are foggy. I remember doing songs with him. I did a song with him once at Club Lingerie in L.A. I don't remember that at the fairgrounds. That sucks.
That's why we got all the
people
like
me
to remind
me.
Yeah. Well, then I saw you again at John Bryant's because John Bryant's Tavern right there was downtown, and so that was like one of the only other places that was like a bar that the bands could play. So Mento was coming up, Sex Art was coming up, and I watched you do an early sound check with Sex Art, and there was just maybe a few couples there, and it was just sound check. And I remember seeing Ryan. I could see Ryan over here, and his long curly hair, shirt unbuttoned, and then you had Dave, and then it was you. And I remember you had a Pendleton on, and like some baggy jeans, and you did the sound check as if the place was completely packed. And I remember you were on the ground. I mean, you were just like,
I feel that shit, man.
And I remember the couples that were there were just like, whoa, and that was just kind of like the vision of what was happening. Literally only a year later.
Yeah,
was amazing.
I'm still that way. I mean, now I don't really do that many sound checks, but then it was full on.
Mm-hmm.
I felt that shit deeply.
Yeah.
And I still do.
That was just amazing. Well, your subsequent success with KORN after '93, and you started kind of doing the indie circuit with the K-Rock shows, then with the Metallica tour, and then onto all the multi-platinum stuff, and that really inspired a lot of the Bakersfield bands. I mean, people started moving here thinking this was going to be the next Seattle. And that, then Kurt Cobain passed, so they kind of looked for somebody else to kind of like come in, and a lot of people looked at you.
Yeah, I know.
And it inspired people, and I'm sure it kind of frightened you a lot too.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to be that person, and I just at that time medicated a lot. So I'm proud that we did put Bakersfield on the map though for music. It needed something else, because the damn Bakersfield sound from country, I mean, it'd been long enough. I mean, they needed something different.
Yeah, exactly.
Going on.
That's what I always tell people too. You're coming back over here to do this show. It's really intimate. You hoping to inspire all the musicians all over again?
I want to just come in and show. I'm not too good to do it. This shit, I fucking play in a garage. I don't care. It's about music, and it's about following your dream and having a plan and just going for it. There's no harm in following your dream, because if you work hard enough, it comes true, man. I mean, I lived under stairs. I was totally secure with my job, at working at the mortuary or working in the coroner's office. I could have easily just settled and had a family, buy a house. I gave all that shit up to go be completely poor, live under some stairs, barely scrape by, and just eat to follow my dream, and look where it got me. So I mean, I think me coming here and playing a place like this just gives people. I just want people to know I'm still the same fucking dude, and I like playing music, and you're never too good to do music anywhere. Yeah. And it's for people that want to come see this, come see it.
Yeah, well, your sister's putting a lot of work into
I know she is. It's awesome.
Yeah. She's great to talk to, The first phone call, me, her, and Kim were always kind of like sending text messages back together. How are we going to make this happen? I said, it'll happen. Part 3 is coming up next here on the Bakotunes podcast, episode 61, featuring Mr. Jonathan Davis of KORN, brought to you by Bakotopia.com. We now present part 3 of our special 3-part entrevista with KORN's Jonathan Davis. Now, back to the show. You've already been through clubs to the stadiums to come. I mean, now it's just kind of like a cakewalk. You just show up
I'm
and jam.
excited to play. It's like a bar.
I know. Yeah, when was the last time you played at places kind of intimate like this, or like a bar? Because this is a full-on sports bar. It's like John Bryant's.
Probably 95. A bar? Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, we play clubs, small club, but like a bar, 95.
With beer specials and stuff like that on the wall.
Yeah, it was 95.
Now, what band are you going to be bringing with you? Which version of the SFA?
I'm bringing the whole band.
The whole? Really? Yeah. How many members is that?
5, 6. It's me, Miles Mosley on upright bass. He's played with Lauryn Hill. He's played with fucking everybody. He's the most amazing bass player you'll ever see in your life. I can't believe the shit he does on upright bass. So I got him on bass. I got Zach on keys, which is Zach's Horse, who was in Korn's backup band. I got Ray. I think Ray's gonna play drums with me this time, and Ray Lazier is our drummer now in Korn, and he did Army of Anyone and David Lee Roth and all kinds of bands. He's an amazing drummer. And I got Shane Carr, and he's played with fucking Frank Zappa, Bruce Springsteen, fucking Sting, Peter Gabriel. You guy's a legend. You can't fucking. And right now he's works with Wendy and Lisa from the Revolution and Prince and stuff on Heroes. He does the voice of Heroes. I'm the only one who'll play violin for. He stopped playing violin. He only sings. So he only does his violin stuff. And then we got that. And then we got Shane. My boy Shane's gonna play on guitar. Who was backup guitar player for Korn for a while. He's just like a virtuoso. He's an amazing guitar player. He's all technique. All the guy does is sit in his room and do. He can play the most craziest shit.
Really?
Yeah. So and little me. Am I missing anyone?
You gonna bring your pipes in?
No, I don't play my pipes.
When was the last time you played?
When I was out with Korn. I think the pipes is a Korn thing. I'm trying to separate the both. That's why I don't bring my mic stand or my pipes. The signature thing in this band's my chair, and I think that's just it. I want to separate the two because it's so different. Because I still love Korn. I'm not trying to go anywhere from Korn. Korn just started working with Ross. They're working today actually in the studio, so starting to work on the record.
What's the best piece of advice you've received as an artist? I'm sure you've got a lot of advice.
There's all kinds of advice. Don't trust anyone. Enjoy it while it lasts. But none of this shit's happened to me yet, so my best piece of advice for someone in the business is run, dude.
What was the last movie you saw?
Milk.
What'd you think?
Amazing.
What
I used to live in San Francisco. That's where I went to Mortuary College, so when they were talking about the Castro and all that shit, it was crazy. I didn't know all that. I never knew that story. So I think that was the last one. Before that, it was Benjamin Button.
What'd you think of that?
Strange. Fucking cool concept.
Slumdog Millionaire? Have you seen that?
Haven't seen that yet.
Gotta see it.
I gotta see that. I met the composer, it's Indian cat. Shankar introduced him to me when I was at the studio. It was cool, and I got to see Damian Marley. I haven't seen him since we were on tour with him in Lollapalooza '97. So I got to hang with Damian, and Damian's doing a record with Nas for some charity stuff.
Yeah.
I just run all these crazy people.
What bands do you have your eyes on right now? You've got listening, you know.
I love Blacklight Burns, Wes's from Wes Borland's band. Wes played on my album too, on the solo album. I like MGMT. So it's like a real psychedelic electronic band. I don't know, I just dig them. And there's shit like heavy bands like Gojira, the new Cannibal Corpse record's insane.
Yeah, I just can't.
I think that's it. I'm not really a huge. I don't listen to that much music because that's all I do.
Paul McCartney says every once in a while he kind of sits back and he stops himself and says, yeah, I wrote, yesterday. And there's no way to put it because you, even at this point in your career, I mean, you're not even nowhere from finished. You're already like a rock music icon, especially where you came in, especially for this generation, do you ever just sit back and say, man, I wrote Freak on the Leaves. That's like my favorite song. I listen to that song all the time.
Yeah, it trips me out.
Yeah.
I look back and look at the songs that we've done. It's over almost 200. And looking back at that, it's like, fuck, I can't believe that I did that. How the hell did I come up with those melodies? How the hell did I come up with that? How do we fucking come up with this shit out of thin air, It trips you out at times.
Yeah.
But I don't really slow down much to kick back and think, I need to do that more often or I'm fucking croak.
Just keep working.
I keep working.
One of the things that really has helped KORN to stand out above everybody is the whole marketing approach that you've done with the band since the very beginning. You've changed fashion. You guys have changed musical styles, and you've helped to change the whole marketing game as far as what bands need to do. When you guys embrace the web right away, like so smart. Like these guys from Bakersfield, man. They embraced the web. You guys did the after school specials and
The
you
mail
do all
on the web.
Oh, and it still happens now. I mean, I'll go someplace, I'll go online. You guys are doing a contest based off of a contest something. It really helps to bring all the fans together. I've met a lot of KORN fans.
Yeah, we got a
they
big.
reached out to me. How do you develop those plans? And you guys just sit down and
We just embraced it early on, and we got put in Time magazine. That's what freaked me out. I wish I had a copy. I missed all this shit, but we were the first band to do a live web broadcast of any kind. We had a DJ from a radio station in San Diego host it one day, and then we had another guy. We had Adam Carolla do it the other times, and we had the first time they just came out with QuickTime VR technology, so kids could look around the studio at Indigo Ranch. You could click on it and turn around. That was cutting edge shit then. And we debuted a couple songs off Peachy on the web, so kids could listen to it. And then I was chatting the whole time. That we just knew I knew that was going to be the new thing. We just knew it, and then we've always kept doing it. I do it. I mean, the KORN website sucks right now. It's fucking whatever. No one keeps it up, but if you go to my JDSFA site, kids have been watching me make my album the whole time. That's my new shit.
a lot of guys don't do that. They don't embrace the technology you have.
When I heard I wanted to put cameras in the room and let kids, watch me. At the first, when I was just writing, I left the sound on, so they got to hear me writing the songs, the demos, and they were tripping out. But now that I'm doing record, I have the sound off because I know they're just gonna rip it and then it's gonna leak everywhere. But still, they get to watch every night and see what's going on.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
If you weren't playing music, what would you be doing in life?
Shit, I'd probably be at the coroner's office being an investigator. That's what I wanted to do. I mean, I love doing the autopsy and everything, but that fucking really fucked my head up for a while. From seeing all the horrible shit that I saw. I got post-traumatic stress disorder from it, but since then I've gotten over it. It was good, but I really wanted to be an investigator.
You watch CSI and you watch those shows?
Yeah, it's all whatever, but
yeah.
When I was doing it, it was fun because I liked going out and investigate the crime scene and writing a report. I had fun there. There's a lot of good people there. I don't even know if they haven't been back. I know Jim Maloof left when Helen passed away, because when I was there, Helen Frankel was the coroner, but after she passed, now they absorbed it. Now it's a sheriff coroner. Mm-hmm. And I don't know who runs this shit there. I should just go by and knock on their door one day. Hi. So any of the old investigators still here to know me?
But what can the fans expect from the show on the 26th?
Just they're gonna finally get to see the show that I did around the United States and in Europe. A lot of the Queen of the Damned stuff. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of KORN songs that I haven't played in a long time, and some covers. And it's going to be very intimate. It's going to be a show that you won't ever see, ever. Because it's going to be in this setting. And you never know what's going to happen. I might pull out some new shit. I don't know. It just depends on the night.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You're welcome, bro.
We want to send out a special muchas gracias, merci beaucoup, and a thank you very much to our homie Jonathan Davis for hanging out with Bakotunes on this episode 61. Thanks for listening. Peace.